Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be covering the Warlock and talking about the best ways to level as a Warlock in the new upcoming WoW Classic Hardcore servers. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz, and we'll just jump right into it. So the Warlock is honestly, in my opinion, one of the faster levelers in the game. The only reason I wouldn't say that the Warlock is as fast as the Hunter or the Druid is because you don't have any access to movement increase from your talents early on like the Hunter and Druid do. So, yeah, that's about the only downside. I feel like the Warlock has more speed when it comes to how fast you can kill mobs and out in the open world questing and whatnot. But you are going to have more travel time, and that kind of skews it back in the hunter's favor a little bit. But honestly, especially once you start getting more gear, the Warlock gets to where you can pull, 2, 3 at a time without any problems at all. In fact, you may want to pull 2 to 3 at one time just to speed things up. Whereas the hunter, you really do prefer to only pull one at a time. But the way the warlock's damage works with so much damage over time, you can pull multiples and fear one and not have any downside to it really. You're not losing your kill time on your main target as much from pulling multiple mobs with a warlock. One of the bigger upsides in regards to warlock versus hunter is that you don't have to go all over the world trying to tame a bunch of different pets to learn all the different abilities. You'll have a quest at level 10 for your Void Walker. You'll have a quest at level 20 for your Succubus, and at level 30 for your Fell Hunter. But, other than that, that's all the traveling you have to do for your pets. Their abilities are trained at a demon trainer, which will be right next to your class trainer anyway, so that's a lot more convenient to me than the way the hunter has to go about it. But yeah, when it comes down to it, you don't have access at level 20 to any kind of movement speed increase from talents or from abilities, so that does slow you down a bit. I will say that you do have to carry some soul shards, but I don't feel like you need a special bag to carry your soul shards the way the hunter needs a quiver. So that's, another area where I feel like the warlock is stronger. Really just carrying, 4 or 5 soul shards while you're leveling is more than sufficient. You really don't need a bag with it. But the warlock is insanely strong. One of my favorite classes in WoW Classic. Definitely. Yeah, just nothing that I can think of that I would rather play if I was going to be leveling than a warlock. You've got great control over your health and your mana and transferring one to the other. I mean, you've got a lot of control over your health and your mana while you're questing. So, this gameplay in the background, I think I'm level 15, about to turn 16. And I really feel like this is about as weak as the Warlock gets. It's kind of why I wanted to show this gameplay at this level. And you can see at some points I'm pulling 2 at a time. I can pull 3 at a time if I absolutely needed to, but 2 at a time is nothing really, even at this level. And this is the worst level before you get sacrificed for your Void Walker and what's the other one? The where he can heal himself. I can't remember the name of the spell, but yeah, this is probably one of the worst levels for a Warlock. And as you can see, I mean, like, you don't really have any trouble killing anything as a Warlock. There's very few situations that you can get into in the open world that you can't handle unless you're just trying to die. So, you got a lot of versatility from your pets as well. I find the Void Walker's sacrifice to be insanely powerful, especially after you get a few talents into the demonology tree. It really, really gets good. The succubus, you're going to have crowd control from the succubus. The fell hunter, you'll be able to pull that out if you know you're going to need some interruption on spellcasting kind of deal. It's just they have a lot of versatility. So I really can't think of any just huge downsides to the Warlock, so I'm just gonna skip that part. Let's talk about professions. If you're looking to level a Warlock in the classic hardcore servers, I can't recommend enough going for tailoring and enchanting. Alchemy is always a good choice for pretty much anything in a hardcore server, but especially for the Warlock, and especially for the first 35 levels or so, 40 levels, you will be highly dependent on your wand. You'll be putting your damage over time effects on targets and then switching to your wand to finish them off. So early on, getting access to the lesser magic wand and the greater magic wands, that's going to carry you level 25 minimum. I'm not sure at what level you can actually get, a significantly better wand than the second one you get from enchanting, but it's a while. And at that point, the gear that you're getting from tailoring should be picking up and making more of a difference. I know, especially around the late 30s and early 40s, there is a Warlock set, a tailoring set that you can get, and I wish I could remember the name of it right now. I'll probably put it down below in the description, a link to the set of gear I'm talking about. But once you get that set of gear, you are basically set until 55. You'll probably start replacing some of those pieces of gear from that set. And I call it a set. It's not really a set. They're just all named the same, and they're all plus shadow damage for the Warlock. So yeah, it's not really a set. It's just several pieces of gear that are really good for the Warlock that you can get later on. So, I mean, yeah, I highly recommend getting enchanting and tailoring for the Warlock. Just, you know, you're going to be able to make your own bags, and the wand is huge for the Warlock. And, you know, especially in a hardcore server, you're probably not going to want to buy all that much gear because, yeah, while you're leveling, gold is fairly slim anyways. But so yeah, let's see, is there anything else? One of the tips I have for playing a pet class the same as the hunter is to bind your pet attack and pet follow to different buttons that are easier to hit than the shift or control 1 and yeah, whatever it is on the pet bar. I really don't like that. I usually end up binding those keys to my mouse wheel, so if I roll my mouse button forward, my pet attacks. If I roll my mouse button backwards, my it gives the pet follow command. So that I really find that insanely useful for playing a pet class like a hunter or a warlock. The other thing, try to always keep a health stone. It's something that's easy to forget when you're out leveling, especially right after you use it. You may not remember to resummon your health stone and just go into the next pool, and it's, yeah. But try to always keep a health stone on you. And, you know, the Voidwalker is really good, really powerful as you're leveling, but that doesn't always mean it's the best choice for whatever situation you're going to go into. So get used to trying to figure out which ability or which pet is the best for the situation. It only takes a few seconds to swap pets, so it's not really a big deal. Yeah, beyond that, I will say that alchemy does end up working out really well with the Warlock, though. The weak Troll's Blood potions and the upgraded versions are really good for the Warlock. It's always nice to have your own potions that you can make as well, so it's not a bad choice. It's just, you know, I really recommend tailoring and enchanting. It is hands down the best choice for a Warlock in my opinion. So that's about all I've got for you on that I can think of. So we'll jump over and look at the talents I recommend while you're leveling. So again, I have this character on the PTR just so we can go over the talents. Now, this is not my recommendation. This is just what I do on the Warlock because I have played the Warlock forever. And as we went past Classic and into Burning Crusade and into Wrath of the Lich King and on up, I really got attached to not having a cast time on my corruption. In fact, I can't stand to play it without it. So this is just the way I do this. You don't have to. But the first thing I do on any Warlock character, I get instant cast corruption. Can't stand to play a Warlock without that. And it's a mobility thing for me. I will stop, cast Immolate, and as Immolate, the cast for Immolate is ending, I'll hit Corruption, and I'm moving at that point. Just it keeps me more mobile than if you have a cast time on your Corruption, and I've gotten to where I really cannot stand to play without it. So yeah, that's where I put the first 5 talents. I don't actually recommend that if you're not attached to the instant corruption. Just go straight into demonology. So I go into demonic embrace for the first 5, and then improved void walker is going to be huge while you're leveling. And at that point, improved Hellstone is the one I like to finish out the first 10 talents. Now, at this point, Fell Domination is a really, really good cooldown. Because if you're in the middle of a big fight and your Void Walker dies, you can pop this. Try and fear whatever killed your Void Walker. Pop this and get your Void Walker back alive a little quicker, and a lot of times that'll save you. So Fell Stamina is really good while you're leveling. Just makes it to where you can go longer without having to heal your Void Walker. I put 4 in that, and then you can get the Master Summoner talents here. So this is going to, even without popping Fell Domination, this is going to reduce the cast time for summoning your minions by 40%. So just a really good talent when you're out in the open world if you need to switch pets, or if your pet dies. It's just really nice. And reducing the mana cost by 40% is huge. At that point, I go into Unholy Power. And that will get you to Demonic Sacrifice. I don't actually recommend picking up Demonic Sacrifice as you're leveling. You want it, probably, to get to Soul Link, but it's not as big of a priority. So I'll just finish out Unholy Power and then finish out Fell Stamina. And then at this point I'll go ahead and pick up the Demonic Sacrifice. And then I think we need 3 more points. So at this point you can make a choice. I find this talent useful to have when I'm leveling and soloing more than the Fell Intellect, but Fell Intellect is probably the better choice. So at that point I'm going to go into Master Demonologist and Soul Link. And at this point you can do whatever you want. You can go into Destruction and try and get, better results out of your Shadow Bolt. But what I like doing is going into Affliction, and I pick up Improved Drain Life. And then I pick up Fell Concentration and Nightfall. And this makes it to where when you're out questing, every now and then you'll get a free instant cast Shadow Bolt. So yeah, it's just really nice. And then with the 2 talents left, probably Suppression would be your best bet, or the Improved Life Tap, whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. Now, I will say that I think Demonology is the best leveling spec for the Warlock. However, once you get about level 38, Affliction comes really close, and it's arguably, you know, just maybe even more fun to play as Affliction than Demonology. So, about 38 to 40, you've got the gear and the enough talent points that you could respec over to Affliction and come on down to Siphon Life and Shadow Mastery, and then go into Demonology after that. I never pick up Dark Pact. I don't. If you need mana, you have Life Tap for that. You know, it's just I don't find Dark Pact that useful. So once you get to Shadow Mastery, then start going over and filling out the Demonology tree as an alternative. But I will say until level 38 or 40, I really feel like Demonology is going to give you better results. These early talents are good in the Affliction tree, but they are not as good as the ones you'll get out of the Demonology tree. That's just my opinion on the matter. You don't have to take my word for it. Try out both if you want. That's just the way how I feel about it and what I think about it. So that's all I've got for you today. Let me know if you plan on playing the Warlock on the hardcore servers. Let me know what you think about the video. Be sure to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.